Yo, I don't know where y'all got this idea that I'm Mexican. Let me.
Now, I'm about to give y'all the real game right quick. So I appreciate this Eurasian pretendian for correlating his pretendian ass with the pretendians over there on the West Coast and in Mexico and shit like that. See, on the East Coast, these were the first people to claim that they were Native American, the nativists, or the Know Nothing Party, right? You clearly see what that say. And this is how they look. Where Europeans fighting other Europeans for coming in and trying to claim what they already laid claim to. Crazy shit. Then, later on they had the help of Walter Plecker and a lot more shit. This was all happening around the same times. From the mid 1800s, or later half of the 1800s, probably like around 1860s to the early 1900s, right? Hold on. These people only do what their ancestors do. Usurp shit, steal other people's cultures because they don't have none themselves, right? Now this is Sachin Littlefeather, right? And she's a pretendian. She was a native activist and everything, but when it came to revealing the truth, she had no indigenous ancestry, right, at all. She used to claim that she was Apache and Yachi or some shit like that, and she's not none of that shit. Her family told everybody the truth, that these people are Spaniards. And I know y'all know this guy. This is Iron Eyes Cody. I just wanted to show you a pic of how he looked when he was young. He starred in over 200 films displaying that he was a Native American. And he even went to his unalive bed, sound crazy, claiming that he was a true Native American. But this guy is an Italian. Both of his parents are Italians, but this shit is going to tie into what I'm going to show you at the end. Y'all stick around. Then you got people like this guy, Brigido Laura, who made up over 40,000 supposedly Mesoamerican artifacts, right? That's in museums all over the Americas and even Europe today. And they know the shit is fake, right? He got locked up for supposedly trying to smuggle out ancient artifacts out the country. But when he got locked up and he was like, wait, hold up. I got to get out of jail free card because I didn't actually try to smuggle any ancient artifacts. I created this shit myself, and he proved it by recreating this shit in front of them, right? And he told them they were just his own personal interpretation. So he's responsible for putting all of these these Asian European phenotypes onto these supposedly old statues, but they're not. He recreated this shit. He created them in clay and jade. So the earlier ones you see look more like me, right? And then the later ones look more like him. Y'all remember El Desperado, right? We was thinking this guy was a Mexican the whole time. Everybody thought he was. Shit. This guy is a Spaniard. And this is why all of them share this phenotype. They look just like him. But I'm going to show you who they're mixed with, because Mexicans and these pretendians on the east side, you feel me, it's all fake. All of them is mixed fucking Europeans and Asians. Someone might have a sprinkle of us in them, but most of them are Eurasian peoples, right? Now, y'all watch this video to the end. It's going to show an example how these people kind of usurp our identities. Wait, right quick. Before we watch the video, I just want to remind y'all that these are mixed people. These are not the original peoples. These people are a mix of Siberians, Mongolians, Filipinos, Spaniards, Portuguese, Dutch, the pale-faced French, English, some with a splash of Hindu. Most of these people are usurpers. They are not the original peoples. The original peoples have the original genetics. Remember that.
And what took place in the Philippines also mirrors what took place in America when both empires, the Philippines and America, fell to the Spanish crown. I'm going to read a page from the book Asian Slaves in Colonial Mexico, and it's from page 46. Okay. It says, quote, "The Spanish government instituted the same forms of labor organization in the Philippines as in the American colonies, first allowing colonists to have encomiendas and then pushing for reform with the repartimiento system. Under encomiendas, a Spaniard was allotted a group of Indians who owed him personal service. Repartimento was a crown control system that required Indians to work for nominal pay." Okay, so I use that quote just to show how what happened in the Philippines and the Americas, they operated under the same types of system, which was pretty much a caste system where the lighter skin would kind of become the Chino slaves or the Indians. And then at the bottom, you would have the reclassified indigenous people being reclassified as Negroes working at the bottom in the sugar plantations and in the fields and the rice plantations. Okay, so that's why I use that quote to show that both the Philippines and Spanish America, now Spanish America, were under the Spanish crown. And the type of system that operated was the same in the Philippines, and it was the same in Spanish America, right? Now, at this point in history, the indigenous people were being subdued, and people belonging to the lighter-skinned races helped the colonists subdue the real indigenous people of the land. A clear example of this taking place is in the Philippines. Quote, in the Philippines, both systems allowed for slavery because the native elites were responsible for delivering the laborers to the Spaniards. The lawful enslavement of the indigenous group Negritos exemplifies the leeway given to native chiefs regarding slavery. The colonial government gave permission to the indigenous elites of the larger ethnic group to carry out their own slaving raids. The Pangans, for example, who lived in a fertile province of Pampanga, had license to enslave Negritos. The Kapampangans, you understand what I'm saying, excuse me for the mispronunciation. The Kapamangans were allowed to go to war against their natural enemies, enslave them, and make them work in the rice cultivation. End quote. So later on, Negritos were reclassified as Negroes and lost their indigenous status and became Negro slaves. Now, there are other words that that they say that the Negritos, they say they really are Aeta, like Aeta, okay? Because Negrito means little Negroes. And I'm not sure what they were called at that particular time when their nation was being subdued by the lighter-skinned natives. But they were indeed reclassified as Negritos, and they were forced to work on the rice plantation. And as you can see, what happened with the Kapampanggans, they worked with the Spanish crown to subdue the true indigenous peoples of the Philippines. Okay. Meanwhile, in America, indigenous people